Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. I know I just did the Q&A, but one of the questions that I got asked about, I felt like it needed its own independent video, so I'm going to knock that out for you guys real quick before I go to the gym. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, someone asked me about cortisol suppressing supplements on a cut. First off, as far as I know, cortisol suppressing supplements shouldn't do a lot, and secondly, there seems to be a huge amount of misconceptions about cortisol. I go into a lot more detail on this. If you guys want to watch my overtraining series, I'm going to link the first video in it. I cover this in quite a bit of detail. But when we're talking about cortisol, this is a case of where bro science tries to discuss scientific methods, and this is a case where the people who are talking bro science really should kind of be quiet. Let's just clear this up straight off the bat. Cortisol is a stress hormone. You have to have it for survival. If your body does not produce enough of it, you will drop dead. Now, as far as your physique goes, yes, cortisol does break down tissue proteins in muscle, and chronically elevated levels are not a good thing for your health, for your body, for your gains. But this idea that cortisol stores body fat is absurd. In fact, cortisol helps break down body fat. It not only breaks down protein for fuel in muscle tissue, but it also is one of the hormones responsible for signaling fat cells to release fatty acids for fuel. So actually, if your cortisol levels were too low, hypothetically, you would struggle to burn body fat. But again, that's speculative because you're always going to have energy in, energy out balance issues. But hypothetically, it could inhibit the loss of fat if cortisol went too low. However, I don't think you can inhibit it enough for that. Now, when it comes to your actual gains in the gym, there's been data over the years that come out that shows that longer training can produce more cortisol in the gym, and that has spurred so-called experts on to start advocating the use of shorter training protocols. But the issue is that they're assuming that this cortisol release is a bad thing. All the meta-analysis that's been done on the subject in 2012, and you guys can Google this stuff yourself, pull up all the meta-analysis and the peer-reviewed research, shows that the higher the cortisol release in test subjects post-training, the more muscle mass they tend to gain in the long term. So actually, higher elevated cortisol levels post-workout are positively associated with muscle hypertrophy. So if your training is geared around keeping your cortisol levels lower, I would strongly suggest to you that you've read some pretty bad bro science and that you are in fact actually hurting your gains and shooting yourself in the foot there. Alright guys, I hope that's cleared up the topic of cortisol just a little bit, and I hope it's been informative for you, and that's really all I have to say on that today. I will talk to you next time.